Good morning. My name is Gerald Wallace, and this topic is on mobile computing. My standard disclaimer: the views of this presentation does not represent the United States Navy, Uniformed Services University of the Health Sciences, the Naval Postgraduate School, or any specific technological company or entity. So the objectives for this presentation is define what mobile computing actually is. It's important to discuss some of the history associated with computers and mobile computing to see where we started and where we're going, and discuss options for mobile computing, such as laptops, tablets, hybrid devices, phablets, smartphones, and then also discuss how to access the internet for mobile computing. So, exactly what is mobile computing? It's the method of using technology wirelessly to connect to the web, to gain and distribute information across platforms. It's also known as nomadic computing. So just think of being able to access the internet or any entity like that wherever you are without having to be attached to any kind of device. So when we go back to the history, 1940s is generally speaking where computers started. 1940s, the complex number calculator was created. Another form of that, a little bit more advanced, was the electrical numerical integrator and calculator. Um, and some sources state that the first computer created was from Hideo Yamashita from Japan. Um, and the one pictured here is the SRA 1101, was introduced and officially purchased by the Navy. You see the size of that, so as far as mobile computing goes, that definitely would not be ideal in today's standards. So we fast forward to the 1960s. Um, Computers became more common in larger industries. The US military and the space program were probably the biggest consumers of this device, and IBM was definitely the market leader in having computers. There was some problems associated with that. The biggest thing is that there are a lot of glitches, a lot of errors, and a lot of delays in the use of those computers. Then in 1970s, two individuals. I'm not sure if you ever heard these names before, but Steve Jobs and Wozniak introduced a small little company called Apple. In the 1980s, Tandy and Macintosh were introduced. A little bit of an emergence of Apple at this time. And Tandy, I remember growing up having a Tandy computer and was very excited. It was very big, very bulky. And that's when you had to type in WIN to initiate your computer access. The If you ask the millennials now what a floppy drive is, more majority of them probably will not know what that is. But the true floppy drive was that big 5-inch disk that was in essence floppy that stored, I believe, at the time, 3 megabytes of capacity. So just imagine today trying to use that for your storage. The important part of the 80s is that this is when the internet was created, which is pretty much the first indication we had of moving forward towards mobile computing. And then Apple produced the first portable computer. And I say portable in essence because that computer was almost 20 pounds and it cost at that time about $6,500. In today's market, $6,500 was a lot to pay for a portable computer. So just imagine back in the 80s. In the 1990s is when internet became the gold standard for searching information, and the World Wide Web was officially created. So all the www dot addresses we put in now originated in the 80s. I'm sorry, in the 90s. Important aspect in this decade for mobile computing would be when Wi-Fi is created, which gives us the ability to be separate from an actual some kind of connection within a house or a business and that sort of thing. Now, when we come to the decade of 2000, that's when cloud services were introduced. Dropbox still today is one of the most popular uh, cloud services where you can store information. Why is this important for mobile computing? Because you have the simple fact of being able to access your data wherever you are. So you don't have to worry about keeping it on a home computer or somewhere else. As long as you have internet access, you can access one of these entities. Amazon has one as well too. There's iCloud Drive. There's so many different companies nowadays coming up with these kind of cloud services. Um, the iPhone was introduced in 2007. Again, I highlighted that in red just because, again, it goes to the importance of mobile computing. It was the it wasn't the first smartphone, but it was the first smartphone that really captivated audiences as far as being able to access data from your phone. The touch screen was big in this point as well too. 2009 is when the MacBook Air was introduced. Why is that one important? Because again, at that time it was the lightest computer, so again it made the um, possibility of mobile computing even easier because again how light that was compared to the 20 pounds with their first portable computer to now we're talking about the difference of 15 pounds, very lightweight. And then the decade of 2010, which we're in now, is when the iPad was introduced. Again, Apple at the forefront. This time, they're introducing the world to tablets. Again, this was not the first one, but Apple was known for the company that really put tablets on the map as far as, again, mobile computing and the options we had with that. So when we look at mobile computing, this is a diagram that pretty much depicts what happens with mobile computing. Of course, you have the world of the internet. And in order to access the internet, you need access points. So you see different locations here. You see Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi is very important. I think the majority of today's household has some form of Wi-Fi in their home where they can access their laptops, their phones wirelessly without having to plug into the wall of those entities too. You see the cell towers as well, which is also important for us to be able to travel with our mobile computing options. So let's talk about laptops. When you think mobile computing, laptops are generally the first thing that comes to mind. Currently today, it still remains the primary source of mobile computing. Um, they are getting smaller, they're getting faster, which again um, makes it important for that mobile commute. Um, you have they can fit in the back of your book bag, suitcases, briefcases, so it makes it very easy to travel with them. Now you have solid state versus traditional hard drives. Traditional hard drives are the ones that you might hear your computers humming and kind of slows it down. With today's technology now, we have solid state based laptops. It allows the laptop to be a lot lighter and a lot faster, so you don't have that current engine running in your laptop, so it makes it more efficient. When laptops first were available for mobile computing, there's probably you got about 2, maybe 3 hours if you're lucky in your laptops. Laptops nowadays range anywhere from 7 to 9 hours of battery life. So they've gotten so pretty much when you look at productivity, that's a significant amount of the daytime where you have access to your computer and can use it for work, pleasure, whatever you need to do for mobile computing. And the biggest thing as well too is the Wi-Fi option. Wi-Fi's are in multiple stores, multiple businesses now, which allows you to go anywhere throughout these areas and access the web via Wi-Fi. There are different levels of Wi-Fi. I believe the first one was an 801 A, and then which was relatively fast. The current fastest one now is Wi-Fi AC. So if you're in the market for a new laptop, definitely look for something with AC that can transfer data of up to about 900 megabytes per second. So it definitely gets you very fast too. Having a router that can handle that as well is going to be very important for how fast you want to transfer that information. So just keep in mind if you're in the market for any of these, um, for any laptops. Um, Looking at tablets. So tablets are extremely portable. It varies in sizes. You have, I think, the Kindle. I mean, for reading, I guess not a lot of the Kindles nowadays. You can access the internet, those kind of things, up to the iPad Pro, which is about 12 inches um, wide. So, I mean, they're getting bigger, but you do have a variety of sizes depending on what your needs will determine which one you'd want. Touchscreen is very important now. People have gotten very comfortable using touchscreens when it comes to their tablets and very comfortable using those options as well too. The majority of them have built-in Wi-Fi, so again, it makes the mobile computing important and allowed to function. Some of them have a cellular enabled option, which is even better because again, those areas that have dead zones when it comes to or does not have Wi-Fi, sometimes the cellular option works out to your benefit. So that's a good thing to have as well. Another advantage of the tablet is that you can actually create a personal hotspot with that tablet. For those of you who don't know what a hotspot is, it's pretty much your own mobile network hub where you can connect your laptop to it or other tablets to it as well too, so you can access the internet wherever you go. Hybrid devices. That's pretty much a combination of a laptop and a tablet. The biggest difference is that you have some option of disconnecting the keyboard from this tablet where you can actually use it as a tablet or use it as a laptop. One of the most functional ones we have nowadays is Surface Book by Microsoft. The Surface Pro 5 comes out in about a month or so. But this one is very convenient because it's very efficient and it functions as a true laptop, but also function as a tablet. So you have that convenience of using that. A lot of them also comes with pens, so you can write on your screen if you're an artist or if you want to make your presentations more functional. But again, it's one of the more complete packages we have nowadays too. There's some other options listed there. As you see down there, I have iPad Pro listed with some question marks. The difference is that I know that Apple tried to make a hybrid device with the iPad Pro. It is definitely fast. I mean, I have one myself. I love it. However, what I have found from it, though, it is still using the Mac iOS system, which means that it's not truly a standalone computer. So is it a laptop replacement? That's very debatable. But the Surface Pro would be more of a replacement because, again, that is a true computer, and the iPad Pro is still only using iOS versus using a Mac OS. I'm sorry, might be talking gibberish to some people, but pretty much the biggest difference is not considered a true computer. Disadvantages of hybrid computers. Some function more as a tablet versus a laptop, and some function more as a laptop versus a tablet. So if you want a tablet over a laptop, you might want to lean towards the iPad Pro. If you want more of a laptop than the tablet, you might want to lean more towards a Microsoft Surface Pro. There's other options out there too, but those are the ones that I'm familiar with. I'm sure if you do your own research, you could figure out which one works best for you. Phablets, that's a term that's a hybrid of a phone and a tablet. The phablets meaning pretty much the larger screened phones. So they're still phones, they're primarily phones, but they're bigger, so people tend to use that for quick access for mobile computing. And it pretty much, I won't say ultimate use of mobile computing because, again, you're still going to have limited capabilities with the screen size. If you're truly trying to function work related, you can do some things, but you might be still limited. On top is the iPhone 6s, which is the one to the right, the larger screen, and below is the one that just came out was the Samsung Galaxy Note 7, I'm sure you guys have seen the commercials. It comes with a stylus. I actually have that phone right now, and so far, I'm liking it. It's definitely a powerhouse. It can do a lot. It's very functional with a larger screen, so it definitely helps. The limited, again, some of the capabilities are limited. It's not an actual laptop, so just keep that in mind. The size is not ideal for daily functioning. I mean, checking email and things like that, it works fine. When you do use it as a phablet, you will compromise some of your battery life usage. So just be mindful of that. Some people walk with portable battery chargers and things of that nature just to make sure that they can get that taken care of. This is a list of different modes of connections. Um, MiFi's or portable Wi-Fi's. Some people can use their phone as well too. Called tethering, where you physically connect your phone to your laptop, or by enabling your Wi-Fi, you connect it that way, and that's how you could be. That's probably one of the ultimate ways of doing your mobile computing as well too. One thing when you do use your phone as a tether, it does suck that battery, and it also depends on your cell coverage. If you have poor cell coverage, you might not have good Wi-Fi, so just something to be mindful of. So what's for our future right now? I believe that we'll have more hybrid devices that will come out with more functionality to function more as a laptop and a tablet together. Probably in the next couple of years, I think we'll have some good variety of options. Right now, the biggest two are the Surface Pro and the iPad Pro. Larger smartphones, we laughed before when cell phones started getting bigger. I think they're just going to get bigger over time, which is going to make it a little bit more functional when it comes to mobile computing. Um, I would like to hope that we're going to get stronger and more Wi-Fi hotspots so that we can function from home all the way to business without any kind of interruptions. And I think what I'm pushing for the most is built-in cellular data in laptops. So we won't have to connect our phones to it, and then we can truly turn our iPad into a true mobile device. Um, when you look at the United States, pretty much usually there you have Apple followers or you have people in the Android ecosystem. Um, so you just have to ask yourself which one's going to work best for you. I dabble in both just because I like to follow technology, and I think it's important that you do that so that you can be up on what's going on when it comes to mobile computing. Thank you and have a great day.